The following is a presentation of Project Independence and WCWP. Project Independence is the Aging in Place initiative of the town of North Hempstead. We provide programs and services designed to assist and support the older town residents who wish to remain in their homes as they age. If we don't currently provide a service, we will try and connect you to that service. Call 311 or 869-6311 to get more information or receive services.
Welcome to Project Independence and You.
Morning and welcome to Project Independence and You on 88.1 FM and WCWP.org Community Talk Radio. I'm your host today, Rebecca Miller, along with our co-host, Otto Lohse. How are you today, Otto?
Good morning, Rebecca. Good morning. The snow flurry's coming out right now.
It's definitely winter. I have to say, it's definitely a winter day. So, today we're going to be talking with Devera Lynn, and you're with the you're VP of Marketing over and Communications at United Way of Long Island. So first of all, thank you for coming on today. We appreciate it. And
thank you so much.
It's great to have you. We're going to be talking to you today about Project Warmth. So you know, I know we don't have a lot of time, and it's a great program. So why don't we just jump right into it? If you could give us a little background on what exactly Project Warmth is.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. Just so you know, my name is Devera. I know it's Devera. A little, the extra E throws everyone off. Everyone calls me Dev too, so you can use that.
Devera. Okay.
Thank you so much, though, really, for inviting United Way of Long Island to join you. Of course, you know, you just talked about the snow. So Project Warmth could not be a better topic today. There are so many people who are struggling, and many first-time strugglers as well, just because of a loss of job and from the pandemic, and it's just really tough times. So what United Way of Long Island does is provides a service. It's called Project Warmth. It's a Long Island's only non-governmental island-wide emergency heating fund. So as people are having difficult times paying their bills, we certainly want to help with that. So basically, it's a safety net for eligible individuals and families who are facing energy insecurity and just unable to pay their heating bills. And it's fuel neutral, so you can have oil, gas, electric, any type of heating assistance that's needed, we can provide that. And so our goal is to reach about 1,000 families this year.
And who is eligible? How would you be eligible?
Actually, we've got, if you go to our website, unitedwayli.org/Project Warmth, you can gain information from there to get access to fill out a form. We also, the best way to reach us is through 211. And really applicants who are low wage earners, working, seniors, veterans, anyone who finds themselves in an energy crisis during these cold winter months, households who are eligible for the government program HEAP, they have to apply to HEAP first. So in other words, there's two different things. Is basically we assist households that are not eligible for HEAP. So if you are eligible for HEAP, you do have to apply for HEAP first. If you are not eligible, then you can certainly apply for Project Warmth. Our goal is really to help people. There's really no income guidelines. You know, people have emergencies. They could have a death in the family. They could have, their car could break down. These are big payments, just even day to day, putting food on your table, medicines, things like that. So really anyone is eligible as long as you apply for HEAP first if you are eligible. And if not, then Project Warmth is for you.
Ever you say apply for HEAP first. What is HEAP for people who don't know what that is?
HEAP is a government organization. It's a government-funded heating assistance. So that is for people who can apply for government funding. So what happens is that there's a certain limitation of household income that you need to have the threshold to be below to be able to apply for the government funding. But many people don't fit that category. They may make $5 more than what that threshold is. So they would not be eligible for HEAP, which is why we make Project Warmth available to anyone.
So you could be for one or the other. You can't be for both.
You can actually, if you apply for HEAP, and you do, you say even if you are accepted into the program, and then once you apply for HEAP, you cannot apply there again. So you can actually, at that point, that's a good question, that you can apply for Project Warmth at that point.
And these are all what I'll call one-shot deals. In other words,
Yes. Yes. You know, our goal is really to help people with financial stability, which is why it's, you know, you look at Project Warmth and we're helping someone get through maybe a really bad month. So the idea is to get them over that hurdle. And then also I talked about our 211. It's a non-emergency referral and resource line that people can get over 10,000 resources. So if you are having financial difficulties, the next step then is to call 211, and our call specialist will help you actually get other services, maybe financial counseling, so you can now do a better job at paying your bills. So it's really multi-pronged. There's several different things that we can do and that could support someone who's really going through tough times.
suppose I fallen behind by 3 or 4 months with my heating bill. Will that whole 3 or 4 months be picked up, or how does that work?
It's a case-by-case basis. Yes, it is a case-by-case basis. You do have to be in arrears. So we do ask to see a bill. That's part of the criteria. And for oil, though, it's a little bit different because a lot of people just get it to fill the tank, maybe a one time every month that they fill the tank. So your tank has to be a certain level. I believe it might be a quarter of a tank, might be less. I'm not sure exactly. But when you apply, you'll see all the guidelines for that. But yes, you have to be in arrears. And it is a case by case. So when you talk to the case manager, they certainly will give you advice on how much they can cover, and you know, we try to help people as best we can. But you know, it's for some people, if they need that 3 months, then we might be able to do it under, again, it's like a case by case situation.
So, Devera, you mentioned 211. Of course, the town of North Hempstead, we have 311, but it's limited to being able to reach us. You have to be within the town on your landline. We also have a dial-in number, 869-6311, if you're calling from your cell phone. So, United Way, this program covers all of Long Island, both Nassau and Suffolk?
Yes, 211 is in Nassau and in Suffolk. It's really very, it's comprehensive. So you can get help with financial assistance, housing, healthcare, childcare, how to be directed for even career training. So there's a lot of different categories and help that 211, we have actual call specialists who answer the phone. We also have a website, 211li.org. But you know what, to get help in navigating how to really get this assistance that you need for all your needs, it's better to call. The first question they're going to ask also is, are you a veteran? Because there's other services for veterans as well. So it's really quite widespread, the services, and the best way to get that help is by calling 211. It's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And they also do Project Warmth intake on 211, and that's from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. There is an 800 number that people can call if they are outside of Nassau and Suffolk counties. But if you are on Long Island, then if you dial 211, you'll get right to the call specialists who actually service Long Island.
Is that the 888 number, 7746? Okay, so people could call 211. Can you call 211? You can call from your cell phone too?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
But if you're off
Absolutely.
Long Island, you can call 888-774-7633.
That's correct.
It's always hard to believe, like I read on your website, Project Warmth, 1 out of 3 households on Long Island don't earn enough to make ends meet. And we all know Long Island is not an inexpensive place to live, but that's pretty unbelievable, really. And I think a message is that for people not to feel embarrassed or ashamed if they need some support, because they're not alone from those numbers. There's a lot of people that need help, and I'd say don't be shy about asking for it. We're all in this
Absolutely.
together, as they say.
Absolutely. And as I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of people who are really struggling for the first time. They've never had to ask for assistance before. United Way did a study. It's called ALICE, Asset Limited Income Constrained Employed. It's a research study on financial hardship. And like you said, about 30% of Long Islanders are really struggling. They have 1, 2, 3 jobs. And according to this report, family of 4, the household survival budget in Nassau County is nearly $85,000, and in Suffolk County, it's $86,000. So, this is the income simply needed to afford food or shelter, childcare, transportation, and healthcare on Long Island. So, the high cost of living really can put people out, and they should not be ashamed at all to ask for help.
My generation and even earlier generations in the older category may have retired 20 years ago on what they thought was a big pension and a decent Social Security check. And it's the same as it was 25 years ago. So the reality of life is, maybe you've got $1,000 a month 25 years ago, and maybe that was a big deal. $1,000 a month now is like poverty. And there are people living on less than that I'm aware of, frankly. It's a tough game.
Yeah, people are finding themselves, going to food pantries that have never done that before.
Right.
So, it's tough. And, but the resources are here. And that's why we offer Project Warmth. And again, it's cold. The winter is not over, and is with this big storm on the way. You don't realize too that if you're in a home that, the temperature is 50 degrees inside, you think, 50 degrees, but it'll drop down at night even more so. And it's extremely dangerous for seniors and for children. It's absolutely dangerous. So if you are having a heating emergency, you absolutely need to get help. And people have to reach out, and they do. And there's a lot of help that is available, which is great, because, I'm asked many times, how did not-for-profits, how are you doing it during these times? And honestly, the people who can give are still giving, and they're even giving more, which is great. So we're very lucky. We have incredible donors and supporters who provide for Project Warmth and other programs. Recently, we received a wonderful grant from National Grid Foundation for $250,000, and that's pretty remarkable. They're supporting our Project Warmth program, as well as Safe at Home for Seniors, which is another program for seniors, and helping make sure that they have modifications in their home that will keep them safe.
Devera, if somebody's interested in contributing, how would they do that? Would they call 211? Is it the same process, or?
The best way to give is to go on our website, and it's unitedwayli.org. And there's a button that says give, or if you did unitedwayli.org/give, and you can make a contribution at any increment. We also have reoccurring contributions if you'd like. If you can't give one big, contribution, say somebody wants to give $100, that would be great. But if they feel like they want to do it but can't do it in one shot, Then we certainly have reoccurring. You can do it every month. You get $5. So it's, it's the
There's
best
a lot
way.
of, right, plans.
Exactly.
Um,
Lots of ways to give.
So like with 311, if we have a senior call and they say, oh, I need a ride to the supermarket, I have no food. So that's a flag for us, right? Okay, why do you have no food? Is it
Yeah.
you just forgot to go shopping, or is it money? Is it whatever the reason is? So that's a flag, and we'll look into that a little bit more. So I assume when someone's calling 211 for Project Warmth, and like Otto was saying, for the first time, do you guys recommend other things too? Like, hey, especially for people who've never been in this situation before, there are other supports that you might recommend, based on the fact that there's, it's a means issue.
Right. Right. And, we work with over 100 community partners, and they're basically a safety network of services for anyone who needs help. So when people call 211, they ask a lot of questions about, their situation, so they can get the list of really what those needs are, which is why I recommend to call and not just go online, because a call specialist can really help and ask those questions and direct you, though, to one of our agencies who can help you. And you will then have a case manager, and that person will be like your personal assistant, and they will help you. And that's what people need. But people may not know that they can do that. They're like, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. So really that person's a navigator for you, and they'll help you get through the times and say, here are all those things you need. So if someone is living in the town of North Hempstead, the call specialist will direct them to our community agencies that are in North Hempstead or closest to them. That's really how this works. And that way, then they can get the support they need.
Last week, we had somebody on about prescriptions and medications and whatever. And I noticed that one of the programs that United Way has is called Single Care Prescription Savings Program. What's that all about? How do you save money on prescriptions?
Well, it's pretty incredible. We've had this partnership for many years now, and basically, it's very easy. The program itself is you can print a prescription card right from our website. So if you go to unitedwayli.org and /single-care, you actually can go to the page where this card, you can download it. It's free. Anyone can download the card, whether you're insured or not insured. It's for families, for individuals, and anytime you need to fill a prescription, you use the card. And some people prices have been lowered up to 40%, so that's significant savings. It's for unlimited use. Anyone, like I said, could use the card. There's really no activation for it. There's no registration, and these discounts are applied immediately. So to get the card, you can just simply download it. There's also a mobile app which is on the website, and start saving. Start saving, because every little penny counts now.
Well, Devera, that was a lot of great information. I know that we only had you for this first segment, but thank you so much for joining us. A wealth of information, and we have all the contact numbers and websites. I'm sure we'll be having you back. Again, thank you so much. You've been listening to Project Independence in You on 88.1 FM and WCWP.org. And we'll be right back.
Take WCWP with you wherever you go with the WCWP app. Listen live 24/7 to all of our streams, all from one app. Plus, call the studios directly from the app and visit our social media. Download the app through the iOS App Store on Apple devices or the Google Play Store on Android by searching WCWP Radio, or visit WCWP.org for links. The WCWP app, available now on iOS and Android devices.
Welcome back to Project Independence in You on 88.1 FM and WCWP.org. I'm Rebecca Miller, your host, along with co-host Otto Lohse and Christina Liu, who is our radio show producer and, of course, the director of 88.1 FM, WCWP.org, Dan Cox. We now have another guest. Our first guest was great. Devera Lynn, she provided a lot of information on Project Warmth and also some information on a prescription program that you just have to go to their website and download the card and you can get discounts. So a lot of information. Call 211, go to the website just to get some information. And I'd like to welcome our next guest, a fan favorite and a favorite guest on Project Independence in You and a lot of the programs she does. It's Barbara Mehlman, and Barbara Mehlman is our facilitator for technology for the terrified. So it's so funny, Barbara, because whenever people hear the name of that program, they're like, that's for me, technology for the terrified. So, I mean, it just makes sense because it covers everybody who is like afraid of breaking the internet, or they're like, people are afraid they're going to do something to the whole system by deleting something. But we're so happy to have you back on, and you're going to be doing also a live in-person program for us February 28th right here at Clinton Martin Park in New Hyde Park. So we're looking forward to that. Christine and I were thinking, what would be a really good topic for you today? And, we kind of came up with, talking about fun things that you could do on your phone or interesting things, so that it's not only just this method of figuring out who to call or emergencies or what have you, that there's a lot of things on the phone, even for people our age and older, to have some fun. And when I mentioned that to you, you just sounded like you were so excited. So
yes,
what's out there for us?
Okay, so full disclosure, my expertise is primarily on the iPhone. I worked for Apple for 6.5 years as an expert, and I really know the iPhone. However, if you have one of the Galaxy phone, one of the Android phones, you can do the same thing on these phones, though the navigation, and what I mean by navigation is the way you move around in the phone and activate different features, is going to be different. Okay. But there are things you can do, especially, you're sitting in the doctor's office. He has an emergency. You were there on time, but you end up waiting an hour and a half in his waiting room. You've got your phone. Okay. There are so many things you can do that are so much fun. So I've got my phone with me, and I want to show you some things. So first of all, notice the camera. There's your camera. And your camera app.
Who are on the radio only listening, just take a look at your iPhone as Barbara gives details. So just turn on your phone and look at your home screen.
Okay, so just a minute. I want to get this. So no, I guess not. Okay. So one of the things you can do with the camera is really cool. So here is a picture of me when I was 3 years old. Okay, I'm absolutely adorable.
Yes, you are.
Okay.
It's an adorable picture she's showing.
Okay, I can do things with that picture. I can play with it. And the nice thing is, if you have a picture in your phone that you really treasure, but you want to try different ways, if you want to increase the contrast, the brightness, if you want to fade it to make it as a background, that's not permanent. You can go back to the original way you had the picture, so you don't have to worry that you're ruining a picture. So here's this picture of me. Now I can, up here in the upper corner here is the word edit. If you hit edit, you have a whole bunch of options. Now this is on the iPhone. And down here at the bottom, I have a whole different bunch of options that I can do. And what you should do is play with them and see what each one does. So I'm going to touch one that's called saturation. Now, see this slider on the bottom? I can turn this into a black and white photo.
So you're sliding, for those people that are listening,
Right.
it almost looks like a ruler, and you're just sliding it back and forth.
Right. So I've now made it into a black and white photo. Now, there is something over here. I'm not sure what you call this, but you can turn this into a vignette. And when I touch that, now watch what I can do. Again, sliding this. Is it one vignette? Noise
So
reduction.
you're basically, Barbara, one of the things that people can do too, if they have a fear of something happening to the picture, is they can screenshot the picture.
Right.
And then they'll have a separate picture to play with, and then they can work from that picture too.
They can also duplicate it.
Right.
Okay, but if you'll see down here is the word cancel. I'm going to cancel it. I have the option to discard changes. And when I discard them, I'm back to this original adorable picture of me, and I've changed nothing.
Right.
So that's really a lot of fun to do. Now, some of the other things you can do with the phone. And a lot of them are kind of like downloading apps. So an app is something you find in the App Store on your phone. It's, if you see that A, that's your App Store. And there is an app called, which I think is really adorable. It's called Zmoji. Let me spell it, Z-M-O-J-I. And you can create an avatar of yourself. The kids use the word avatar all the time. It's kind of like a video game representation of you. Okay, so when my hair was short, this is how I made myself. But I have lots of options. See the plus sign? If I touch the plus sign, I can choose a gender. So I'm going to choose female. Now I can choose a hairstyle. And you can go through this whole thing choosing lots of different avatars. And so now, or send a message to someone in messages. Let's see. Okay.
So in addition to all these fun things that they have on the phone, the apps, you can include a Zmoji in your text message that's a picture of you. And if you put in, happy, maybe it would come up with a happy.
Right.
So there's so many, there's a lot of fun things that you could be doing. In terms of the apps, there's fun things, and there's also things that are clever that can be used in day to day. Like, we all probably have a flashlight app. I mean,
Right.
I probably use mine every day. And
Yes.
probably as I get older, I use it more and more. The flashlight app is my go-to.
Especially in a dim restaurant when you can't read the menu.
Right.
Of course, they've lowered the lighting for atmosphere.
Right. So it's great for the menu. It definitely is. It's people of all ages I've seen use the flashlight with the menu. Are there any other apps? I know we talked about a fun one you had mentioned for picture hanging. You said that there's a level. You can
there's a level. Yes. So now one of the things, I have so many apps on my phone. To find a level is a pain in the neck. So if you take your phone and put your finger about here and pull down, you get a search field at the top. And I'm going to put in the word level. And up comes my Measure app, which I have on the phone. I don't know where it is, but now I do. I can just touch it. Okay, and down at the bottom, it says measure and level. If I touch level, it will show me the degree.
Right.
Okay, so you can do that.
You could probably put the phone, if you're trying to hang a picture on
That's
on
what
the
you
picture
do.
itself
You put your phone right on top of the picture.
Right.
And you do this, so it'll be like this. And you wanted it 0.
Just a quick thought for people like me who's an Android user.
Sure.
You can get these apps by going to what's called Play Store.
The Play Store, right.
Right.
Yeah.
So that,
The
same idea as Apple, but a different location.
The other thing I wanted to show you, at the beginning of the quarantine and lockdown, my daughter is an essential worker, my younger daughter, and she works in Boston. And she has to take the subway every day to work. And it was driving me crazy that she was taking the subway. I was terrified for her. I said to her, I want you to contact me first thing in the morning when you wake up, and then at night when you go to bed, and I want to know that you're okay. Well, it's really boring to say, I'm okay. Good morning, Mom. So we now send gifts to one another. So I don't know if you know what a GIF is, but a GIF is like a little 1 or 2 second movie, and you can find it on your phone, and it's in Messages. So if you click on Messages, down here, you have a whole bunch of options. And if I move them, you will see GIF, GIF. Okay, and if you touch GIF, you have a field that says search. So suppose you want to say funny good morning to your kids. I type in funny good morning. So here, I've typed in funny good morning. And then I hit enter. And here we go.
Right. So what happens is you can type in an action, an activity, a word, and you'll have a selection of hundreds of quick little videos that instead of typing good morning, it'll be someone or a cartoon character. You can even put in Elvis. You can put in anything you want. And you just tap on that particular video and hit send, and that gets sent via your text. So you can do all these cute things when you're communicating with people, and it's fun. It's fun. And when you start, I think what happens, Barb, is like when you start getting into your phone and understanding, oh, this is how that's done, you kind of get to do more and more. And one of the things I was curious about is you said you worked at the Apple Store for 6 years, and
6.5 years.
How did you get to that point? What led you to be, an expert? Was it the field you were in, or?
I was an advertising copywriter, and I worked on an IBM Selectric. I started in 1970 something. Anyway, I got a job as promotion manager for Life magazine. Many of you will remember Life. Oh, yeah. And my boss brought in, this is 1986. And my boss had on my desk in my new office, this beige box with a screen, like a 7-inch screen, and a separate keyboard like this. And he said, you're going to do your writing on this. And I looked at him and I said, please get me my IBM Selectric. He said, you're going to learn how to use this. Well, somebody in the next office was working on the same machine called the Macintosh, which I'd never heard of. And she had on her screen a document. And she had some things in bold, and she had some things in italic, and she had formats with indents. And I thought, that's fabulous. How did you do that? And she showed me. I never looked back. So I've been using a Mac since 1986. And, life moved on. The advertising business is a young person's business. I left it after 20 years. And I have a master's in library science, and I ended up becoming a school librarian. As a librarian, you have no papers to mark, you have no parents to deal with, you're not giving any homework. I finished school at 3, time was heavy on my hands. So I applied to Apple. And I was the oldest person they ever hired. They hired me in 2014. Wait, I left in 2016 and I worked this. So they hired me in 2009. And I was on the team that opened the Manhasset office. And I worked there for 6.5 years. And I love this stuff so much that I got promoted to expert fairly quickly. And, I learned how valuable it is. One thing I want to talk about, because one of the things I learned about, this is not a fun thing. This is a life-saving thing. I have an Apple Watch. Now, I will tell you.
We actually have to take a quick break so we can start off with this topic. It sounds like a good transition into the next segment. So you've been listening to Project Independence in You on 88.1 FM and WCWP.org. And we've been talking with Barbara Mehlman, Technology for the Terrified. We'll be right back.
WCWP is your home for great music and great conversation. You'll find all that and more on WCWP.org. Listen live on the web, check out the lineup, subscribe to podcasts, and stay up to date on the latest station events. Get in touch with us and let us know if you like what you're hearing. And find out how you can support or get involved at the only community public radio station serving Nassau's North Shore. Plus, sign up to get a free bumper sticker. It's all online at WCWP.org.
Welcome back to Project Independence in You on 88.1 FM and WCWP.org. Your host, Rebecca Miller, along with Otto Lohse and Christina Liu. We're speaking with Barbara Mehlman, who is our technology expert and has over the years given us many, many programs, always entitled Technology for the Terrified, but, the topics vary. And I think that kind of loosens it for people who like to come in. You know what? I think I like this person. I'm going to listen in. So before break, you started talking about you're pointing to your watch and experiences that you had. So if you wanted to elaborate on that topic.
Okay, so for those of you who are listening on the radio, the Apple Watch is not a beautiful watch. I mean, it is not a Piaget, it is not a Movado. It is strictly a utilitarian watch, but it has life-saving features on it. And one of them is called hard fall. Now, the thing is, it requires that you have an iPhone, not a Galaxy. And Otto, you talk about it because you have an Android phone.
Yeah.
But so I have a tendency, I don't pick my feet up high enough often when I'm walking up the stairs. And I have a tendency to fall up the stairs, not down the stairs, but up the stairs. I just tripped. And when I did, my watch said to me, it actually talked to me. It said, "Are you okay?" If I answered, "I'm okay," that's the end of it. If I did not answer, the phone has the GPS coordinates of where I am located, and it will make a 911 call. If you Google Apple Watch saves lives, on your computer or iPad or whatever you're using, you will find article about how it has saved lives. There's also an app called AFib.
So Barb, that is an app that you had on your phone. So you'd have to download that.
Actually, no,
app.
it's not. No, it's a feature of the phone. It's a feature of the watch.
It's a feature of the watch. So you don't have to download it.
Nope, you just have to activate it. So if you go to the Apple Store, they will show you how to activate different features, because you can get all kinds of notifications, such as when it's time to take your medication. Okay. This is an app that I downloaded, but I got a notification that my heart was in AFib. Well, that's very dangerous. You could have a stroke. That happens to me whenever I get dehydrated because I forget to drink. I have my coffee in the morning, and by 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I still haven't had anything to drink. And this reminds me, that I have to really have a bottle of water or something like that. It will also check your heart rate. I'm glad to know mine's in the low 60s. That means it's good because I exercise. But you can also, the watch has these activity. This is also built into the watch. It's an activity feature. It tells you you're sitting too long, it's time to stand. It has, which is fun, it has circles that you can complete as you do exercise, as you take more steps, so that it kind of pushes you. It's almost like a goal that it sets for you. And you can shut it off if you find it annoying. So I really find it to be invaluable.
Barbara, with the Android, I have a Fitbit, and my story is nowhere near as dramatic as yours, but I had a situation, the same story. I don't have the latest and greatest, but they do have what you described, the hard fall and those features. But my story was, it keeps track of your heart resting rate, your BPM. And I was feeling very tired and not too energetic. And I looked and I saw that my BPM was running like 40, 42, 43. I showed it to my doctor, and my doctor changed my blood pressure medication. And now I'm in high 50s, 60, somewhere in that range. Yep. And I feel a lot better. Point being that it's not just a game, but there's some health benefits that come out of these devices.
Absolutely. Here's, for those of you listening on the radio, there is an app with a heart on it. That is your health app. And if you hold it up, if you open it up, it will tell you how many steps you walked. Mm-hmm. And also it will show you walking asymmetry. Now, you can't see this on the radio, but you see that chart? Mm-hmm. At one point, I am walking with a limp, and it shows that I am walking asymmetrically, which meant that I really should use a cane to balance out my walking, because I have a hip problem, and that's what's causing the asymmetrical walking. So there are so many health features, but this topic was really fun. You can have, I play games. I love games. So, and these are apps that you download and they're free. So I play Word Warp, Sudoku, Crown, Solitaire. The only annoying thing about them is, because they're free, you've got to deal with ads. But if you can deal with the ads, they are really fun to play. They really sharpen your mind. The latest thing, I don't know how many of you know about this. My daughter introduced me to this. Everybody's playing Wordle. Wordle. So if you Google Wordle and click on the link, you will get it. And what it is 6 chances to figure out what the secret 5-letter word is. And it will tell you, you put in a word and it will tell you which letters are in the secret word and which ones aren't, which are in the secret word but in the wrong place, and which are in the secret word in the right place. And you get 6 chances to figure it out. And it is so much fun. I do it every morning. It's my wake up. My daughter and I share to see who can guess the word in fewer tries.
You know, I do solitaire on the Android,
Right.
and I found the free no ad version.
Oh, tell us about it.
Yeah, but it doesn't. I can look it up and send you the app, but it doesn't keep a history, or it doesn't tell you when you're stuck. You know, you may hit something and it says, "Here's a play." There's none of that. It's a no frills solitaire. But the other one that I do is crossword puzzles. You can do it, and that's better, frankly, on a tablet. Of course, the screen is a little bigger, but you can get all kinds of crossword puzzle apps, and they're pretty neat, really. You know, you put letters in, and it's a lot easier than writing the letters in.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's easier to erase when you make a mistake, you know.
Well, that's why I like doing Sudoku on the phone, because, you know, this space can be a 4 or a 6. So you can type in 4 or 6, you know, and if it turns out that's not the one, you can just get rid of it. Right. And you're not busy erasing like you know, with the crossword puzzle.
Yeah, and if you do crossword puzzles in ink, then it's really a problem.
Right.
With a straight pen, right?
Yeah. In fact, I just bought a fountain pen. For those of you who ever, I went to Staples to buy ink, and the girl behind the counter didn't know what a fountain pen was.
You know, I remember, I have to admit, when desks had inkwells in them, and you actually had a pen, a straight pen that you dipped in the inkwell.
That's right.
It was a mess. I mean, it was really, and frankly, I think I really don't like to write since that era. Like, it was a mental trauma, you know. I print better, but writing with a straight pen was not an easy task.
That's funny.
I think that, you know, some of these games too help you kind of use your phone a little bit better. You know, you're moving in solitaire, you're getting the hang of how to use the phone, because I think a lot of not the fear of using the phone, but the difficulty is actually understanding how to maneuver around the phone, getting to your home screen, finding the app. I mean, if you've got a lot of screens and you have a lot of apps, you know, you're going to have to fish for it. And I have to say, even for me, a lot of the icons for the apps now look similar. So I find myself looking, but, you know, if you slide down and type it in, the name of the app, that'll come up too. So there's all kinds of ways to access everything on your phone. I mean, I think everything on your phone could be accessed in a multitude of ways.
Right. Well, one of the things I love.
I'm sorry, but I've had people say to me, "Well, put that on a 3x5 card for me." You know, I say, "No, you can't put this on a 3x5 card. You have to pick and poke and play around." You know, and eventually you get the basics down, and then you can do the stuff you're describing. You know, sending a video to your daughter, or, you know, all these little things you can putz around with. There's a lot of fun stuff.
One of the things I love about the iPhone, and I know Galaxy phones have it also, is Hey Siri. Okay, she didn't hear me. You can do all sorts of things with that. If you are driving and you are stuck in traffic and you are meeting a friend and you know you're going to be late, you can ask Siri to send a message to your friend saying that you're going to be late without touching the phone, without taking your eyes off the road. You can ask Siri to set a timer for you. So I don't know about you, but the timer on my stove is not loud enough. If I have a timer and I'm in the living room, I do not hear it. And my hearing is still pretty good, but the timer is too low. So I set my timers on the phone. And I asked Siri to set the timer for 15 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever, for the laundry, for a baked potato or whatever I happen to be using it for.
I do it all the time. I
Yeah.
use it I make hamburgers on a grill. And the formula I have is 5 minutes, let the grill heat up,
Yeah.
3 minutes on one side. I do with the phone and
Yeah.
then flip it, and then 3 more minutes on the other side. And that's the end of it. But
Right.
it's all with the
If you
timer
have an
on the
Android
phone.
phone, you use Hey Google, right?
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
And it's great. And the other one is like just somebody yesterday used the phrase Dr. Google. There's there's so many things you can learn by going to Dr. Google. It's unbelievable.
You know what else is absolutely invaluable? And you can get this on your phone, on your iPad, on any phone, any computer, YouTube. I mean, that's how I learned to make corn in the microwave. Best way to make corn in the whole world. The demonstrations on YouTube are outstanding. And there is nothing you cannot learn. There is a video for everything.
That is true. Really small stuff too. Like fixing a thing on a storm door that I got involved with. I Google it and there it is. Somebody made a short video about the problem. It's unbelievable.
I want to share with you the first thing that I ever Googled or searched on the internet. My older son now is 26, and he was a baby. And we had a bird that was on his swing set, and it wouldn't leave. It just stayed there. And to me, it looked like it was sick, and I was afraid that, it was going to die in the next morning. It was going to so I just went to the internet and I put, I had bird in my backyard won't fly away. And I had one response came up and said, and it was from Britain, and someone wrote, "Oh, if you have a bird in your backyard," of course I didn't hear it, but it's not flying away. And they said your yard. They didn't say backyard. Give it a little water with sugar. It's probably dehydrated. So I did. So Matt and I went, we got a little bowl, little water. We put it down near the bird. And sure enough, the bird drank it and flew away. Now, if you put a search like that, you'll get 15,000 responses, but we got one. I don't know why I'm thinking of that, but it was kind of very memorable. And I was such a hero. My son was like, "Mom, how did you know?" But
I think
very
we're
different
always,
today if you put that in, Otto.
And I think we're always, and Barbara is a master communicator of it, trying to encourage people to get technically somewhat savvy, right? And it's so easy now, with especially like a tablet versus having to use a laptop. The tablet is so easy to use, and the things you can gain out of it are unbelievable. I mean, I know, I'd rather read a printed book, but I do look at a Kindle once in a while, and you can get all kinds of books, basically many of them for free, and read them right on the screen. You can print things if you want and read them that way. Just unbelievable, really.
You can stream all your movies too on your tablet. You can watch movies. So if you're away or you're waiting, and you can go to your tablet and watch your Netflix show or whatever it is that you watch. Yeah, tablets, and they're great.
Well, one of the other things I love, the Museum of Natural History has a fabulous shark exhibit, and it has a brand new gem haul. Well, you can download the Explorer app, and it is a map and information app of everything in the museum. You can find your way around using this app.
That's
which you
great.
can spend days if you go there trying to find
You
your way
can.
around.
You definitely can.
You know, one of the things I got involved with is Google Photos, which there's and I'm sure an Apple version of Photos, where I took all the old videos, the 8mm and the whatevers, and I had them converted to initially DVDs, and then loaded into my laptop. And eventually I played around with it and edited them and put them with titles. And I put all of them on Google Photos. So now I send links to my family, my kids, whatever. Some of these videos are 60, 70 years old, and there's a lot of history there.
That's fabulous.
That was a long-term project, of course. And then I have a sheet, not a sheet really, a directory that tells you what they are. And you can look at it and then go to Google Photos, which I also frankly have a backup on.
Well, Otto, we actually have to take a break. Barbara, I want to thank you so much. I know we didn't give you a lot of time, but you were here and you gave us some great information. And Barbara is also going to be doing an in-person program at Clinton Martin Park on February 28th. I believe it's 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. And we'll look forward to that. You've been listening to Project Independence in You.